so-called gravitational lensing is fictional. It's inexplicable in the heliocentric model. It is simply glass, the glass of the heavens.
Here's what it looks like in Alliance, Nebraska during the full solar eclipse. It's just about totally dark out. Here's what the sun looks like. It's pretty odd. Almost looks like there's two things up there. Two things going on. Really, really spectacular. We're in Alliance, Nebraska, one of the places that's supposed to be right in the path. And this is what it looks like.
So what exactly was that object that we saw in the sky during the solar eclipse on August 21st? Gee, was it Nibiru? Nibiru is part of I would say, a government PSYOP, second net operation to give the questionable people, skeptical people, a false alternative about what's really going on. And the fact that I've been telling you for over a decade that there is glass in the sky, we can actually see the projection of the eclipse on the glass itself.
Alright, it's coming back.
When the sun is not quite as illuminated like that, it's able to project itself, and we see a reflection of the sun and moon on the glass sky. So that's what's really going on, ladies and gentlemen. Leave it to the professionals to lie to you. NASA, ESA, whoever they are, when they're trying to say that they're launching rockets, quote, into space, they don't tell you, or they lie to you actually, that there is a glass sky at approximately 100 kilometers. And what they do is they give you a cheesy little graphic. Oh, you're supposed to believe their little graphic of how high the rocket's traveling. Well, this is a wide-angle lens for one thing. But what they don't tell you is that during their post-production process of compiling this little work of forgery is that they're going to create these overlapping layers, these concealing layers on the sides here. They're going to tell you, oh, it's going this high, and they get to a point where they say they cross the Kármán line. Obviously, I told you before that Kármán held up glasses to give you a clue that there is a glass sky at approximately 100 kilometers high. And so this rocket is spinning for a while, and it gets to a point where they say it engages its destabilizers, which is probably true, so it does stop spinning for the most part. 62 miles high, crosses Kármán. Oh, and actually, no, it hasn't crossed the Kármán line because it's made out of glass. They can't get higher than the Kármán line, ladies and gentlemen. So what they're doing here, I'll show you in a minute here. Okay, the stabilizers went into deployment. Then they say the second stage separation occurred. And they're going to get to a point where it pretty much stops rotating. And if you look at the little graph, they're going to speed up. Oh, lens flare, interesting. They're going to speed up the footage, I think at 25 times nose cone ejected. Now, if you look at the imagery on the bottom left here, what they did in post-production is they used a spherized filter, similar to one in After Effects, to give you the illusion that it's actually ascending higher. You see the little dot here on the top left here. Look right now. That's where they use the spherized filter. And so they edit it somehow to give you the illusion that you're going higher than you actually are. Oh, loss of camera on the left. Interesting. So if you go back a little bit here, they're saying they got up to 178 miles. Interesting. But all the while, from approximately what they say, maybe that's about what they say here, approximately, I don't know, maybe 120 miles to 178 miles, there's no movement left or right. There's no turning of the rocket. It's just a spherized filter. That's what they're doing, ladies and gentlemen. They're faking this shit. This is why this shit is not meant for private use. They have agencies, NASA, ESA, that obviously they want to give you the illusion that they're going higher than they actually really are, because rockets are supposed to go high, right? And so it's a big money-making operation, a big scamming operation, and it is prophesied that the hail will sweep away the refuge of lies. There's so many lies. You don't have to take my word for it. Just look at all the bullshit that NASA did with the moon landings and the Mars rover landings. This is another one of their scamming operations. They say that they're going above the glass sky, the Kármán line, but they're not. They're just faking this bullshit. That's why this stuff is only privileged by private organizations. So now it's coming down. Yeah, you lost the camera. You got some. That looks like an After Effects filter, and now it's coming down. So, ladies and gentlemen, there is a glass sky. Don't be fooled by the psyop. They're just looking out to make money and trying to fool the public as much as they can to believe that you're living on a rotating globe that's hurtling through space very fast. But the truth of the matter is, you're inside the concave sphere. Light is bending upward. There is an octahedron in the center that acts as a resonant absorptive antenna, which bends the light upward more than the actual curvature of the Earth. Thanks for watching.
The refraction caused by the heat of the sun bulging out the glass that is covering the sun and displacing the apparent position of the stars.
What we're looking at, obviously, is a moon in front of the sun with background stars. Now, if I go to my top view here, go to wireframe mode, I'm going to show you what's going on. Okay. Concave Earth, glass skies. You'll notice this yellow glass sphere is surrounding the celestial sphere, the inner sphere there, and then we have the moon sphere, and then we have this the largest of the glass spheres.
They all have different indices of refraction.
At least one has a negative index of refraction. And you'll see this yellow glass sphere. Now imagine if my camera was, it's down at the bottom. And I got a little sun. It's right over here. There's my sun. It's behind the sun glass sphere. And then the moon is right in front of it. The moon is right below it. There's the moon, okay? So the camera's pointing straight at the sun-moon alignment. And what is going on? I was doing a little bit of fiddling around with eclipses in 3D. And what is happening is that because the sun is it's hot, it's going to generate heat and it's going to create thermal expansion of the glass sphere that it's behind. And so it's going to create a bulging. And so let's get that bulging. Right now I have the bulge on the opposite side. You see at the top there's a little bulge. And so if I turn that around, rotate it, so it's directly in front of the sun. Now the bulge is right in front of the sun over here. And now we can look through with our camera with the refraction turned on. There's a refraction. Now it's off. Now it's on. So we're always looking at the sun and the moon through glass with refraction. that bulge is actually going to displace the background stars, and that's exactly what they observed, Eddington and Einstein, is that the background stars were displaced as if looking through a glass. Wine glass, yeah, that's the ticket. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate that glass sphere so it's behind again, so we're not looking through the bulge, and you'll see the difference. I'm going to just toggle 180 degrees like that, and then I'll go back to 0. You see the displacement of the stars? That's all that's happening. Thermal expansion is happening.
When you look at a nebula, let's use a regular atmospheric cloud for a reference object. Which dimension seems more believable? 50 million light years across, or about the size of a cloud? Nebula means cloud. The truth is hidden in plain sight. The stars are close. They have to be close. The concept of light year is fiction. They have to conjure up prodigious distances in order for their model to work. But common sense tells you it cannot work. We see the stars. The stars are close, very close. The stars are small, very small. The stars are behind glass. The glass has a bumpy surface to it, damaged after the flood. Glass causes chromatic aberration. The different fringing of the bumpy surface causes different redshift readings. Redshift of galaxies is simply chromatic aberration of the glass encompassing the stars. The spiral pattern of galaxies are simply indications of drainage. The celestial sphere contained water. The water came pouring out when the windows of heaven were opened. Stars are formed by a process of sonoluminescence, extremely hot sound bubbles. Because they are bubbles, there is not much mass detected in stars, but rather mass is detected in the area surrounding the stars, otherwise known as dark matter. Dark matter is simply dark waters or liquids, as recorded in the scriptures and confirmed in recent scientific studies. During the time of the flood, the stars clustered together and they melted holes through the glass firmament. Water and sand came pouring down to earth. Because of the frigid temperatures, the windows of heaven congealed back together, leaving a spiral remnant of the drainage. Hidden in plain sight, the glass is detected by comets. In photography, a glass anomaly is created by the lens, called coma aberration, named after a comet. When we view a comet in the sky, it is because the sunlight is hitting the comet at an oblique angle as it is immersed in the plasma field above the glass. There is birefringence to the glass, which splits the tail in two. Sagittal astigmatism, tangential astigmatism, coma aberration are all clear indications that there is glass in the sky, hidden in plain sight. The curvature of the comet's tail is a clear indication that light is bending. It should not be any surprise to anyone that they had found Star Trek-like invisible shields thousands of miles above Earth, where they say it's almost like these electrons are running into a glass wall in space. But there is most likely at least 3 concentric spheres of glass in the Earth, apart from the main celestial sphere. This is detected easily by viewing the 22nd degree halo and the 46th degree halo, and understanding that there is a much lower glass at approximately 100 kilometers. Hidden in plain sight once again, we can understand that there is glass at 100 kilometers based upon upper atmospheric lightning hitting a ceiling at 100 kilometers. We also can understand that auroras bottom out at 100 kilometers. Radio wave propagation reflects off the ionosphere at 100 kilometers. The height of the Schumann resonance is at 100 kilometers. Scientists say that sporadic meteoroids are bouncing off the atmosphere, the sporadic E layer of the ionosphere, the neutral density layer of the ionosphere, like bugs hitting a windshield at 100 kilometers. Coincidence?
It's plowing up this debris, just like a bug on a windshield effect.
I'm bugging on.
Just like a bug on a windshield effect.
Bugging on windshield.
It's like a bug on a windshield effect.
But to a child, a simple rainbow will suffice in having them understand that there is glass above. As the sunlight disperses through the glass, it gets projected onto reflective water droplets. The water droplets are not the source of the rainbow, but merely the reflective canvas of the already glass-dispersed light. Now, for the past 14 and a half years or more, I've been telling people that the Earth is concave and there's a layer of glass at the sky at 100 kilometers, lo and behold. And guess what it's called? It's called the Kármán line, named after Theodor von Kármán, who was a mathematician back in the middle 1900s, who came up with the term, the boundary layer of 100 kilometers being the Kármán line, the division line between Earth's atmosphere and space. Now you guys just got to use a little bit of common sense here and realize that some of these individuals, not all of them, within the scientific community are super, super smart. And they're not going to reveal to you the true shape of the Earth. They're going to wait for God to do that, and God is doing that. And so they're going to surreptitiously give you little clues. And Theodore chose to hold up glasses toward his mouth. In all of his prestigious photos, if you just go on Google image search, you'll find, oh, what's this? He's holding a glass on the left there, on the coin that was made for him. He's holding glasses there, with his hand on the book. The Getty image one, he's putting the rim of the glass, or the handle of the glass is in his mouth. He's holding the glass on the right there. He's holding the glass on the bottom there. And so he knew. Kármán knew, and not only Kármán knew, I'm sure a lot of his associates knew as well, that the Earth, this was after World War II, when they really discovered the facts about the atmosphere and that there is glass in the sky. And they were not going to reveal it to the public because it would be too shocking. They were just going to surreptitiously reveal things and wait for God to come, me, and reveal it all. So now is the time of revelation, folks. You're living in great times.